had your mini hot take, but what is your big hot take on Virgin or on cruising in general?
I gotta say, all right, my big hot take on the Brilliant Lady is, well, I think. Hello and welcome to another episode of Travel Hot Takes with Josh and Allison. I'm Josh Shear.
And I'm Allison Amini,
Great
and
to
these
see
are our
you
hot
again.
takes on travel.
These are our hot takes on travel. Oh my God, Allison, it's always so good to catch up with you. How was your week? What's going on?
My week was good, super busy prepping for going away. You know, the week before you go away, you always have to catch up on all your work, make sure all your clients are ready for
Mm-hmm.
departure, finish 3 itineraries, confirm them, sent them off, just, and then momming, busy momming. It was like back to school night last night. So
Of course, busy
getting ready.
momming. That's
How
always going
about
to be
you?
a
How was your?
thing. I was not busy momming. I am not a parent, so we do not have that in common. But also a busy week. We're both leaving for trips this weekend, which is kind of fun. So same, wrapping up a lot of things. Sent out a couple of proposals. Booked a client who's going to Paris later this year, which is always a favorite destination of mine to work on. And yesterday, I got a really cool thing I got to do. I was invited by Virgin Voyages to go on board their brand new ship here in New York, the Brilliant Lady, which is she's about to actually later today, that we're recording this on September 5th. So today, the Brilliant Lady is making her mermaiden voyage from New York, sailing to Bermuda round trip for 5 days. And it was really cool. I got to have a preview of the ship, walk around the spaces, check out some of the restaurants, check out a show at night. And yeah, I'm excited to talk about it and to talk about all things Virgin Voyages. You've been on board before, right?
I have. And the special thing about Virgin Voyages, what's special about Virgin Voyages, Josh? I mean, there's a
Well,
lot that's special, but the biggest thing,
there's a lot. The biggest thing, and this might be a hot take, but I love that there's no kids on board. I love
no
that it's adults only.
kids.
I don't
And I
know if
mean,
I
I
could.
say this as a mom,
Yeah, I was.
like I love to cruise with my son, love it, but I also love to cruise without him. And I went on a Virgin Voyage with a girlfriend. It was a mom's weekend away or like a long weekend. We sailed out of Miami. We went to the Dominican Republic. We jumped off some waterfalls. We went to their private beach club in Bimini, which was like amazing. And we just had an amazing time on board and it was super fun and chill. Yeah.
That is so, so good. It's funny. Before I started White Lotus Travel Design, I had never been on a cruise. I had, frankly, no desire to be on a cruise. It was not something that was even on my vacation radar. And then I was like, well, I have to learn how to help my clients. So cruising was a huge sort of blind spot for me in the industry. So when I started doing research, I was kind of learning the difference between every line. Because let's face it, there's a cruise line out there for everyone, for all different types of travel. And around the time that I opened the agency, I also had just gotten married. So my husband and I were planning our honeymoon, and we were like talking about going to Greece. We were talking about going to Croatia. And then I was like, wait a second, maybe this is the perfect destination to try our first cruise. So the timing of it just worked out really, really well. So we did our very first cruise. We went from Athens to Croatia, going to Split, Dubrovnik. We went to Montenegro, stopping in Kotor, which was, oh my God, absolutely beautiful. Those mountains, like the whole backdrop is incredible. And then also in Greece, we were in Corfu, and we loved it so much we went on a second one last summer from round trip Barcelona going to the French Riviera and the Spanish islands. So we are now big, big fans of Virgin Voyages, having done two.
So I have a question for you. So this
Yeah,
was like your first cruise, right? But was it Matt's first cruise too?
it was Matt's first cruise too. Somehow, like,
Okay.
I don't know. I grew up in the '80s, and like I just knew like the Kathy Lee Gifford Carnival commercials, like on a friendship
Uh-huh.
cruise with
Yeah.
the slides and I was like, I never thought it was for me, so I kind of never really thought about cruising.
Yeah. And did you, when you, like, I'm assuming it was you that brought the idea to him, right? As the travel planner of the group, right? And so what was his response when you were like, let's go on a cruise? Like, was he all in at first or was he like a little skeptical?
No, we were both skeptical. We were like, are we really doing this? Because when I can't express, like, I was not interested in cruising. Like, I would see people going and I just didn't get it. I also just think my perception of cruising was a little bit skewed based on like the little knowledge I knew of like two or three cruise lines, and it was kind of the same. I wouldn't say either of us were ever against cruising. We just weren't like seeking them out. And then when I started talking about it and seeing everything that was included, all of I mean, and Virgin is really doing things differently, as you know, from other cruise lines. Like other cruise lines, it's sort of like you pay an amount to get on board, but then there's like you have to pay this for Wi-Fi, and then you want to eat at the nicer restaurants, you're gonna pay for specialty dining, and as a bonus, we'll give you 12 bottles of water, and blah blah blah. And one of the things that I liked about Virgin was that everything's included, and there's only the specialty dining on board. So you have the Wake, which is the steakhouse. There is Picagave, the upscale Mexican restaurant. You have Gumbe, the Korean barbecue restaurant. There's an Italian restaurant on board. Extra virgin, which hot take is not my favorite, maybe because I'm a New York Italian and I'm a
Extra
little
virgin was
picky.
actually my favorite.
Ah,
Extra virgin was absolutely my favorite. And you know
really?
why? I mean, I
Tell me.
love the food. And I mean, as an Italian, I know like like picky about Italian food, right? So maybe that was part, but I loved the pasta. But beyond that, the affogato cart was what really
Okay, the
cinched it for
affogato cart
me.
was life changing.
And
100%. Like, if anyone doesn't know, it was like basically ice cream and espresso mixed together for dessert, and an extra virgin. They wheel around this cart that has the whole variety of ice creams to choose from to make avocado. It was absolute. That was very very cool. Most people, it's their like favorite. I think my favorite on board is probably pink agave, and even though the Wake is like the steakhouse, I think the steak at pink agave is probably my favorite steak on the ship as well. So I know, it's kind of weird, but
my
we
friend and
went.
I actually splurged for like the additional, like where you could get like the giant, I don't know
Oh
what
my
it they call
god,
like porterhouse or
the
whatever. We're
was it
like, we're
tomahawk
doing this
maybe?
up. It's mom's night out. And we got like the massive friggin' steak at the wake, and it was amazing.
Oh my god, I love it. It's very funny because I thought I would have to convince my husband that he would want to go on a cruise. And once we started really looking at everything that was included and the destinations themselves, the excursions, the shore things as they call them, that you're able to add on, we said let's give it a try. Like, if nothing else, because when you think of a destination like Greece, right? You're probably going to start in Athens. I had been one time before, but he had never been to Greece before. So we're like, we'll fly to Athens, and then we want to go to like at least one island, right? And or maybe in Croatia go to an island. So then you think about that. You're like, well, I'm either going to have to fly to one of these islands or take a boat there. So once we knew islands and a boat were in there, we were like, this is really, really the perfect destination to try our first cruise. And then once we started planning it, we were like, we're going all in. We basically learned everything we could about the line. We loved that it was all inclusive from the beginning, and it truly is all inclusive. The Wi-Fi, all of the dining, specialty dining, they're very different in that they don't have a drinks package that you pay for up front. You can pay for a bar tab up front. That way you just have money to spend on beverages
Yeah,
anytime you want, or you
I
just have
loved
to
that
buy.
actually. It was really nice because then you don't have feel that pressure. Like I got to get all my money's worth of the beverage package, which I always feel when I'm on another cruise line and I get a beverage package. So
Exactly. Well, I haven't been on another cruise line yet. I've toured other cruise lines. I have been on a river cruise before on Alma
okay.
Waterways, which we will obviously
That's a
talk about.
different experience entirely.
Completely different. But yeah, as far as ocean cruising is gone, I've only been on Virgin Voyages, and I've only gone twice so far.
So we are big cruisers actually, and
Ooh, I
the
didn't
reason
know
I asked
that.
you about Matt, oh yeah, so my husband, I cruised like once when I was younger, and I loved it, and I really wanted us to go on a cruise, but his whole take when I was like, "Let's go on a cruise, honey," he was like, "It seems like a floating porta potty," and I was like, "Are you
Ah,
like, no, it's not what it's like at all." So it took some significant convincing. And the reason that he got on is because we went to Alaska, which, spoiler alert, Virgin is going to Alaska. They
I
aren't there now, but they
know.
are going. And so, but Alaska's like a perfect place to go for a cruise because there's all those destinations in the Inside Passage that you can't
Mm,
reach otherwise, right? So he's like, okay, well, it's Alaska, so we'll go. And I kid you not, Josh, by the first, like as soon as he got on, he's like, whoa, wait, this is a ship? Like, I don't know what he was expecting. He's like, this is a ship. And then by that night, we had already booked our next cruise on board.
that is so cool. And it's very funny because we had a very, very similar experience. Like, We weren't sure. I had never, at least you had been on a cruise before. Like one of you had liked the experience before. We were both just kind of diving in. Is this going to be for us? Are we going to like the people on board? Which is always going to be a big thing because you're with the same people. We were on for 7 nights for both cruises that we went on. And I don't know, I thought everything was really, really just top notch about the experience too. It was more of a luxury experience than I anticipated beforehand. I don't know what I was expecting, but it was definitely, I don't know, a higher tier of service. The food quality was really, really good on Virgin. I like that they don't have buffets on board. They have, I'm sure you went before, but they have the galley, which is sort of like a food court. So it's different types of food, and some of it has been pre prepared in its own little containers. Some of it is made to go, but there's no scooping from a buffet and sharing with other people. Like, I think that's such like
My
a
lowbrow
nice
because I
thing.
like my lowbrow because I like a buffet, Josh. I love a good
No,
cruise
oh my
buffet.
God, I don't think a buffet is lowbrow. I do sometimes worry from a germs point of view of everyone sharing the same serving spoon because I don't think
So
everyone's washing their hands before every
well,
meal,
that's why
even if
you
they should
bring
be.
the little thing of Purell and you have it at your table. So when you sit
Mhm.
down, you spritz your hand. That's little travel advisor tip. Bring a little
I
thing
do
of
like
Purell
that. I know.
to
I always
the
have.
cruise
I
buffet.
do always have. I wash my hands beforehand, but I can't control other people washing their hands. So I personally like that there's not a buffet, but variety is the spice of life, right?
Okay, so talk about the Brilliant Lady, like because I haven't been on
Yes.
board. I've only been on Scarlet Lady. So what was the Brilliant Lady like?
Okay, so the Brilliant Lady, first of all, this is the fourth ship in Virgin's fleet. The first was Scarlet Lady, which she launched in 2021, and then in 22, the Valiant Lady launched, and then in 23 was Resilient Lady, which was what we went on. We were on Resilient Lady out of Athens maybe a month after she set sail for the first time. So Brilliant Lady is now the fourth ship in the fleet. And is actually, they're all sister ships. So all four of the lady ships, as they're called, are basically the exact same layout. Maybe this is a bit of a hot take. I thought it was weird that I got on board yesterday and immediately knew my way around. I got on board and I was like, oh, I'll just go up to 15 and go to the galley. And that's exactly what it was. So, yes, it was a brand new ship, but there was also something familiar about it, which was really. It was really cool because it was almost in a way
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm home. Because I had been on two of their ships before. So once I got on, I knew exactly what it was. I knew what the food in the galley was, which is a good thing. But some people might also be like, "Oh, I wish there was like something to switch it up a bit."
Was
Actually,
there
they
anything new at all, or was it pretty much the
yes.
same?
So
Oh,
some of the designs around the ship were a little bit different. At the athletic club, they did this really really cool upgrade where it used to be like a sort of metal rail around or steel, and now it's
mhm.
glass. So views for
Ooh.
days, the sunbeds now face out. So instead of looking into the ship, you couldn't face out. So the views were absolutely spectacular. But from a dining point of view, so one of the signature restaurants on board is called Razzle Dazzle, but on the Brilliant Lady, that is now Rojo by Razzle Dazzle, which is a Spanish themed restaurant. So you have small plates and tapas. We split, oh my God, oxtail, which was so, so, so
Oh
good.
my god,
I
I
was,
love oxtail.
right? Oh my God. I was like, I can't believe there's oxtail on a ship now. Like, it was so, so good. And then we had octopus, we had this cauliflower dish, and croquetas, which I love. And there was chorizo, and also we split the what was it, pork spare ribs, which were so so good. And then for dessert, we were like, we have to try all three. I'm so sorry, or like three of the dessert. So we tried
Okay.
the cheesecake, which was so good, and then there was a flan, which I had never seen flan shaped like this. I don't even know how to describe it, but it was sort of very similar to cheesecake. It was actually goat cheese flan, which I would never think of goat cheese in a dessert before. And it was very,
It
very
sounds
tasty.
delicious, though. I would be
It
into
was
that.
really good. Like, I think you should definitely try it when you get on Brilliant Lady eventually because it was so good. And I don't know, it was incredible just to be in something familiar, but to have that one different dining venue. And I honestly, I felt lucky that we were able to get a reservation there because everyone was really, really excited about Rojo, and that was I think the restaurant everyone
Yeah,
wanted to go to. Even though they're all
cool.
incredible, like even at lunch, like going to the galley right away, we were so excited. I was like, oh my gosh, I have to cook my sushi rolls, which I knew exactly where they were and what to get. So I really liked the familiar thing, but in sometimes you like something new, you want to find the new things about it. So there were
Yeah.
definitely some new design elements throughout the ship. maybe in the future there will be a newly designed ship. I did read a report. As of now, the four ships in their fleet are kind of all they have planned for officially. I guess there are talks that maybe in the future they will build more ships, but if they do, then it will be a brand new design as opposed to the same design of the first four ships. So
Oh,
we'll
that's
stay
cool.
tuned for that. Yeah, right?
Yeah.
I guess my other hot
Yeah. So
take,
what's like you had your mini hot take, but what is your big hot take on Virgin or on cruising in general?
I gotta say, all right, my big hot take on the Brilliant Lady is, well, I think we could have had more itineraries out of New York to choose from. There were like four, which is a good start, right? So there's the Mermaid Voyage, which leaves today and is going to Bermuda, and then they're doing another 5 night sailing round trip New York, stopping in Bermuda. And then there's going to be a sailing that goes to New England, which, oh my gosh, I wish I had the dates available because
Oh
that
gosh,
sailing
yeah.
round trip to Canada and New England looks absolutely spectacular. And there's only one of them, so I was a little
That's my bucket
disappointed.
list is one of those fall
Yeah,
foliage cruises. But like
I
it's such a
know.
wind like such a narrow window of when you can do it.
Exactly. So they're doing that one round trip New York. There is a second one going New England, Canada, but it's not returning to New York. That one's going to stop in Quebec City. And then I believe from Quebec City, it's going to make its way down the East Coast, ending in Miami, and then it's going to spend several months in Miami. And maybe this is a hot take. I feel like there's plenty of cruises already going out of South Florida. There's just an oversaturation. I mean, obviously, there's the demand for it. The Caribbean is way closer to Florida than to New York, obviously, but I do feel like Florida cruising is a very saturated market, and New York, especially the Manhattan cruise terminal, it was so cool being docked in Manhattan yesterday. We were right next to a Viking ship that was leaving at the same time, which was so cool because a lot of times ships will leave from New Jersey or they'll leave from Brooklyn, which is also obviously very
Yeah.
easy to get to. But just leaving my apartment and going across town to the west side and getting on a ship and going on vacation would be absolutely incredible. So I don't know. That's my hot take. I think Virgin Voyages needs more Brilliant Lady sailings out of New York City in the future. How about you? What's
I think
your
that's a
hot
great
take?
hot take. I mean, I think that's a great hot take, and I agree. I would actually add on to that and say every cruise line needs more sailings
Mm,
out of New York. I actually went on a sailing out of New York this past summer because I was visiting family, and I was like, okay, I just need a cruise to like chill after all this family time. And but there was very little to choose from. We wound up doing a round trip. We sailed out of Jersey, right?
mm-hmm.
And we went to Bermuda and we had an overnight in Bermuda. It was wonderful, but it would be nice if there was, something else, maybe like something down the coast, or they
Yes.
have like some sailings that go down to the Bahamas. I mean, I get it. It's like a long way to sail, but I think that there's a market for it. There definitely is.
I do too. And in addition to going Bermuda, Bahamas, and Canada, New England, there's a lot of cruise lines that go transatlantic from New York. There's no reason Virgin can't have a transatlantic. I mean, they have one going from Miami to Europe, so why not have one from New York? Also, Greenland and Iceland are not crazy far from New
It's
York City
great,
from a
yeah.
cruising point of view. I would love to visit those destinations on a ship, and Virgin would be such a fantastic experience to do that. So definitely, yeah, in general, I would love to see more cruises leaving out of New York City.
Yeah,
I guess
I
I'm a little
completely
biased.
agree with you. No, I agree. Because it's also, like even if you don't live in New York, but you live in the Midwest, let's say, or somewhere else in New England or further down the coast, like it's a great option to like go hang out in New York for a few days before your cruise.
Exactly. New York, obviously I'm biased because I'm born and raised and still live here, but New York is such a fantastic destination between the history, the museums. I'm a big fan of going to the theater and musicals and plays. So obviously, Broadway being here, come to New York for 3 nights before your cruise. Go see a show. Go see two. Go see Cats is coming back. Phantom Masquerade. Go see some theater while you're here. It's good, and
Oh
even
my God, my
beyond
friend
Andrew
went
Lloyd
to
Webber.
Masquerade and she was telling me how amazing it was in
Really? Oh
Masquerade.
my
Have you
gosh,
done
I
it?
have not seen it. Little sidetrack because I love it. But Phantom of the Opera, as you know, is like the longest running show in Broadway history. It closed last year. People were very upset about it, but now Phantom has reopened off Broadway in like a multi-floored venue. It's not a Broadway theater anymore, but you basically everyone goes and there's a dress code. You have to dress up a certain way. Everyone has to wear a mask. I think it has to be like white or black or gold. And then you basically follow the cast around this building and go to different spots in this building to see different scenes of the Phantom of the Opera. And obviously, Masquerade is
Well,
a
my
big
friend
song.
had to rent a dress from Rent the Runway for her because she doesn't have a gown. Who has a gown?
Oh my gosh.
Uh, but actually, now that you describe it, it sounds almost like a Virgin Voyages, like that, like kind of immersive experience that you have on board. I don't want to give anything away, but there's a special night where you're just kind of following cast members around, and I don't know, it could tie in very nicely as a pre-cruise.
I would love
Just
that
saying.
because it is like not your traditional Broadway show, which a lot of cruise lines do have that sort of traditional Broadway entertainment on board. Whereas Virgin does,
Hmm.
I don't know, their entertainment is, I don't know, sort of Cirque du Soleil vibes. It's kind of sexy, it's edgy. I really like the shows on board. And you're right. I think if they were to do a book musical, they couldn't just do a straightforward, like standard show, but something a little bit edgy along the lines of Masquerade or Cats, the Jellicle Ball. I don't know why I'm on an Andrew Lloyd Webber kick today, but the musical Cats came back off Broadway last year, and it was done in like ballroom voguing style, and was absolutely great. No one's dressed up like literal cats in this version. It's so cool, and that's coming to Broadway, and I would love to see something like that on a ship as well. And Virgin would be great for that because they really do embrace the sort of non-traditional ways of cruising. Like they've been such disruptors in the cruise industry and including in their entertainment. So this would be like a sort of a second step in that natural progression, I guess.
Well, maybe Richard Branson is listening and he'll take a cue and talk to the Andrew Lloyd Webber
That's
Foundation,
right.
trust, whatever it is, get
There's got to
get a
be
thing going.
some right. There's got to be some world in which Richard Branson and Andrew Lloyd Webber know each other, right? They
Of
have to have
course.
met, right?
They're both knighted, aren't they?
I think yes, they are. They are both sirs. Excuse me. Their religious names, Sir Richard Branson and Sir Andrew Lloyd Webber. The nerve of me.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my god, I love it. Tell me about your upcoming trip. I know you're going to
Yes.
Nashville, right?
I'm so excited on Sunday. I am heading, I got an early flight, headed straight to Nashville from San Diego. There was a direct flight, which I was like, oh, that's amazing.
Cool.
And then as soon as I land, I'm like hopping on a tour of the city with Virtuoso. We're doing a study tour. And so doing so many amazing things. I cannot wait. We're going to explore. We're doing like a VIP experience at the Grand Ole Opry. We're
Wow.
doing tours at the Country Music Hall of Fame and the National Museum of African American Music. We're doing a workshop. I told you list last week about the Goo Goo chocolate
Yes.
and like Nashville hot chicken tasting. So if you that sounds interesting to you, you should follow along on my stories because I always share my Instagram stories like
My God, yes,
live.
you do. You're so
So
good about that.
and what about you, Josh? What's your upcoming trip?
I am leaving tomorrow for Ireland. I'm going with the Ireland Tourism Board. Spoiler, Tourism Ireland. I'm very excited. We're basically going around the circumference of the island. We're starting in Belfast, we're ending in Dublin, and basically going around. There will be castles, there will be sheepdogs. I'm very excited to go on it
Oh
and
my gosh,
cannot
I
wait to tell
cannot
you
wait to
about it.
see
And
there.
same, I will
Yeah.
definitely be putting content on my Insta story during it. So yeah, please follow along there as well to see some Ireland. And then we'll have to catch up afterwards and tell each other about our trips.
Yes. Yeah, we'll have to do a little recap on our next show.
I love it. Very cool. Do you have any cruises coming up?
Do I have any? Yes, for Christmas, actually. We are
Ooh.
spending Christmas on a cruise ship and we're doing an overnight in Cabo. And we're actually sailing out of LA because, for us, LA is the easiest place to go. There's a San Diego one, but there aren't many that sail out of
Mm,
San Diego. If you think New York doesn't have a lot, San Diego has nothing. So, but we're driving up to LA, night day. We spend Christmas on the ship and then just chill in Cabo and then come home.
very cool. Oh my gosh, Cabo is very high on my list. I've seen nothing but incredible things in Cabo.
Oh my God, I've been there like 5 times. When my son was like 2 and 3, that was like we would just go and park up at a all inclusive for a week and it was glorious.
Oh my God, that sounds so good.
Okay.
So
So, all
yeah,
right,
well,
well,
very
happy
good.
travels, my friend.
Happy travels to you too. I'm excited to get back on Brilliant Lady in March. I'm going round trip from Miami, actually, going to Aruba and Cartagena, which will be my first time in South America. We'll
My
be
gosh, I'm
spending.
planning a trip to Cartagena for a client right now, and
Yeah.
it looks amazing. We have to talk after this is over. I need to find out what
I
we're gonna
know
do.
the food in Colombia is supposed to be absolutely incredible, like some of the best in the world. And this itinerary has an overnight in Colombia, so that was really what
Mm,
sold me on it. And then on the way back, we'll be stopping in Jamaica and the Cayman Islands as well.
fabulous.
But stay tuned, that's not until spring.
Yeah.
Very good. Well,
Okay.
thank you so much for listening in, everybody.
Yes.
And
And we will catch you next time.
yes, we'll catch you next time on our next travel hot takes. Bye. Take care. Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks for watching this episode of Travel Hot Takes with Josh and Allison. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. We'll see you next time.